It is 7 o'clock. Call the meeting to order, August 2, 2017, of the Wareham Conservation Commission agenda. We have a quorum. We have Bill Smith, Agent Dave Pichette, Sandy Slavin acting as chair, Mary, God, Mary Taggart, sorry, and Joe Liggett present. We do have a quorum, so we will continue. Public meetings start at 7:15, so at this time I'd like to review the 2 sets of minutes we have available to us. One is October 5th, 2016. I've reviewed it. I found nothing issue with it, so
Motion to accept?
Joe has a motion to accept.
Aye.
Yeah, Jim seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Mary, you were associate member at that time, so
Aye.
301.
301.
We have minutes from June 7th, 2017. I was not there at the meeting, so I cannot comment on the content of the minutes.
I'll move to accept them.
Joe moves to accept the
Second.
June 7th. Jim has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstain, opposed, abstain. 301, I was not there, so it has passed. So we now can put those 2 minutes to bed. Do you want to do the certifications of compliance next, please? Mr. Pichette?
Yeah, no, we can continue this one.
Well, Gary Buckminster in the Wareham Harbor Shellfish Department has requested a continuance until September 6th.
So move.
I have a motion to continue until September 6th.
Second.
I have a second from Mary. All in favor?
Aye.
400. We have 2 certifications of compliance on the agenda.
Any of these continued?
Nothing was mentioned.
The first certificate of compliance request on the agenda is for Margaret Saunders at 27 Over Jordan Road. This project involved the construction of some decks and the installation of a septic system. This project has been completed according to the order of conditions, so I would recommend the approval of the certificate of compliance.
Any questions on it? I'll take a motion to accept.
Motion to issue? Second.
Joe,
Second.
I heard a second from Mary first. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400.
The second one that's on the agenda, I'd like to hold off on at the moment. After doing the site review, I did find some things there that I felt were not completed, so at this point, I'd rather hold off on the issuance of that certificate of compliance at this time.
Okay. Is there anything else that we can do before 7:15? What do we do for 10 minutes?
Any reappointments?
No, we don't have any openings,
No appointments?
Bills?
no bills,
No bills?
That's good.
no CRs.
You did have some correspondence in your mail packet, just to be conscious of. We got a comment letter regarding the Century Bog Restoration Project that the Mass Division of Fisheries and Wildlife are proposing to do, so they did provide some comments. This is a project we've already issued an order of conditions on, and we did include these types of comments already in our order of conditions, but
How long ago did
Through
we?
through the review for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, they had to provide a separate letter, and that's why we're getting this, so,
Is there anything here different than what we allowed
no.
or chose, or said you can't do it, so you're
No,
in
it's-
line with what this is?
Yes.
How long ago did we have this hearing?
It's been about a year and a half. Yeah.
Oh, what did I do 18 months ago? Give me a break.
It took DMF that long?
Hmm.
Okay, do we want to hold the reappointments till we have a full board?
Do we have any reappointments? I think everybody was done.
That's right, that's right.
End of June, everybody was
right.
redone.
We took care of that.
Yeah, we have 7 members and 3 associates, so we're up to
Well, I
speed.
think the reappointments too had to do with our shuffling,
So what?
reshuffling of
Oh.
the board.
We,
But we brought it up on
yeah, we
the
did
last-
that at the other meeting as well. One thing I would ask, if any members had any further comments relative to the discussion with Ken Buckland and suggestions relative to the master plan. If anybody has any further comments, if you could email them to me so we could include those. If you don't, that's fine as well, but I just wanted to bring that up since we had some free time.
How did it go at the last meeting?
It went fine. He presented the information for, 20, 25 minutes, and then there was some question and answer, and the board did provide some feedback. But we're also given the opportunity to think about it and pass on any additional comments through me. I haven't received any at this time, so I'm just throwing it out there because he would like to have comments by August 9th, I believe it was.
I know, Joe, I know you've seen the previous master plan. Do you see any
Many times.
significant changes that are being recommended from 1989? Was it 98? 89.
98.
98.
Well, they hadn't really had gotten that far yet. They're in the process of
Seeking input.
seeking input. They don't really have a draft at this point, so.
Is there any way we can have a hearing at 7:10 legally?
If I turn that.
Now, no. If we start advertising hearings for 7:10, maybe that's the thing to do.
Well, normally, we're not ready to go for hearings until 7:15, so.
Right.
Getting back to hit the plan, if we had a draft copy of the new plan, we could compare it to the old plan.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We don't have a draft of the new plan
Yeah,
yet.
it's hard to know what,
I think he's just trying to get things that people might have on their minds or thoughts about what they'd like to see in a future master plan, so he can develop a draft.
yeah. I mean, I told him when he was here, we gotta stop building new buildings and start using the older buildings,
30 or 60-day extension.
or we're never gonna get anywhere.
I see Burgess' point on that. I don't even care about wasting
Yeah.
any more time on that. Jim, have you looked at the old master plan?
Did I? Yeah.
All right. That's basically, they're gonna start from there, I would hope.
I would think as a starting point, yeah.
I would hope. I just wish
Some
they-
things have been done, and then,
Very few,
I know, but and
very,
others,
very few.
like the Toby building, keep getting deferred and deferred and deferred.
Don't even ask me how that fire got started
Yeah.
and by who.
I won't.
I will be doing up some comments, so. if you
Okay.
need anything.
Yeah, because he hasn't come before open space, he hasn't come before CPC, he hasn't come before Minot Forest. Okay,
I'm gonna pass these
4
out
minutes.
ahead of time.
Which one are we doing first?
First one. So I'm just passing it out so you have it.
Joe and I will share.
Mary likes to be secluded over
Yes.
there. Okay, his septic system. Oh, Mead Street.
Where's Mead?
It's gotta be Swiss Beach.
Yeah, it is.
It's down in the hollow.
Just kind of before you get to the hollow.
Oh, is it
It's up
before?
above that.
On the right-hand side?
Yeah, it's on the right if you go down,
Towards the beach.
not Swiss Beach Road, but,
Sure.
Swift's Neck?
Shore Ave.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a pool of water right down in the shallow part right there.
It always amazes me how many people who don't live in Maryland have property here, or don't live in Massachusetts, I'm sorry, have property here. Okay,
No, it's
except for
true.
Maryland.
Yeah. They must have had ties here somehow.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lady, has a house across the street from me. She spends 3 weeks a year here. The other
That's it.
rest of the year is in Annapolis, Maryland.
Really?
But she's had that house in her family. She's 94 years old. The house is falling apart, but she comes up here and she stays there for 3 weeks, and her family comes. There's kids all over the place. 3 weeks later, they're gone.
It's like what you do in Arizona or
It's what
Las
yep.
Vegas.
Yep.
Nevada.
Show up for a couple weeks a year. I started weeding.
I noticed,
You can tell that I'm trying to grow corn.
but your corn is so scattered, I'm not sure it's gonna do anything.
I had to plant it 18 inches apart,
I understand,
but
but
none of it,
Not
a
much
lot
of
of
it
it
came
didn't come
up.
up. Yes, so they may not pollinate themselves
yeah, they're too far apart to,
They're looking a little sparse.
a bit. I've had 3 plantings there and I still can't get a good crop.
we have the opposite problem. My wife plants everything too close together. So they all start growing and killing each other.
All right.
I think we're good.
Okay. Notice of public hearing pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protective Bylaws, Division 6. A public hearing will be held in Room 320, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. On Wednesday, August 2nd, 2017, at 7:15 p.m. on the request for determination of applicability for Stephen Belcher, 1070 Minnetonka Road, Severn, Maryland, 21144, to create a new foundation for a 3-season room for property located Assessor's Map
I'll take the green
50D,
cards.
Lot 327, 15 Mead Street, Wareham.
Thank you.
You have your green cards.
One of the green cards is back in Maryland. We've been up here all week. It showed up on Monday.
Okay.
Found out. So,
All
you
right.
can see that we did send 4
Yes.
and just got 3 back.
Okay.
So do
Okay,
you live
Mr.
in Maryland, or do you live,
Pardon me?
you live in Maryland or Mass?
That's where I work.
Oh, you work.
And we're converting Grandpa's cottage to a year-round retirement.
Mr. Pichette will read his findings, then we'll ask you for comments. Okay.
Just get his name for the
Oh,
record.
yes, may we please have your name for the record?
My name is Stephen Belcher.
Thank you.
Okay, this project site is at 15 Mead Street in the Swifts Beach area, and the project involves the construction of an addition and farmer's porch within a coastal flood zone. A 12 by 21 3-season room addition and a farmer's porch are proposed within flood zone AE elevation 15. The addition would have a foundation, and the farmer's porch would be supported on sonotube footings. The commission had previously reviewed and approved a separate utility room addition at this site several months back, which was approved. The work, again, is not within the buffer zone to any other resource areas. There's no filling or grade changes proposed, so I would recommend the approval of the project with a negative determination number 2.
Stephen, anything to add?
I have no further comments unless there are any questions from the board.
I have none.
Thank you. Mary?
I have none.
I have
Joe?
no questions.
Anybody in the audience for or against this project? I'm seeing none.
Motion to close?
Joe's motion to close,
Second.
second by Mary, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 400.
Motion to grant a -2 determination?
I have a motion to grant number 2 determination,
Second.
second by Mary, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, done. See Mr. Pichette before you start the work, correct?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, have a good evening.
That's both of them.
That's it, yeah.
Okay, there's both of them. Who's next?
Nathan Maxim. I'm just following.
Oh, okay. Notice of public hearing Wednesday, August 2nd, 2017, at 7:15 PM on the request for determination of applicability for Nathan Maxim Jr. and Care GAF Engineering, Inc., 266 Main Street, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to construct a driveway and associated grading for property located Assessors Map 99, Lot 1044D, 1108 Main Street, Wareham. Green cards. Please state your name for the record.
Brian Grady with GAF Engineering.
Thank you, Brian. Mr. Bichette will read his findings.
Again, the project site is at 1108 Main Street, and the project involves the installation of a driveway and associated site work. And this is within the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. A driveway, site work, and the installation of underground utilities associated with the construction of a single-family home are to be constructed at this site within 38 feet of the bordering vegetated wetland, which exists on the opposite side of Main Street from the subject lot. The actual dwelling and garage and septic system would all be outside the buffer zone to the wetland. In reviewing the site, the lot has already been cleared, so they kind of jumped the gun with some of the work here. The only question I had was, what is the proposed surface of the driveway? Because it doesn't really specify on the plan what that might be. And I would also want to see, it looks like the grade is relatively flat where the driveway is, but just want to make sure that it doesn't pitch and push all the runoff from the driveway onto the street, if possible. As far as the proposed project, I don't have a problem with it. Would recommend a negative number 3 for the actual proposed work.
Anything to add?
Not just that we not exactly sure what the surface of the driveway is going to be. He hasn't determined that at this point, but the grading will be away from the road. That's what the contours on the plan show. So the driveway there'll be a rolled berm at the gutter, but the rest of the driveway will shed back onto the lot.
Jim, any questions?
No.
Barry?
No.
Joe?
I'm just, no, I can go with Dave's recommendation.
How come it's cleared already?
Well, he has the railroad tracks behind him and the road in front of him, so it just didn't occur to him that there was an issue.
So the whole lot's cleared,
Yes.
pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much, right.
Yeah. So it's up to the board if you want to entertain any further actions that way or not.
Well, about the only thing that's within the 100-foot buffer would be the driveway. Everything else is outside of our, correct?
Right, utilities, grading, and driveway are in the buffer, everything else is outside of,
And it is all outside of the 30-foot no-work zone?
yes.
Okay. Anybody in the audience wishes to speak for or against this project? I'm seeing none.
All right, motion to close?
Joe's motion to
Second.
close. Jim's second. All in favor of closing the hearing?
Aye.
Aye. Abstained, opposed, abstained. I always get those mixed up. Seeing none, the hearing is closed.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, grant with a -3 determination.
I
Second.
have a motion for -3 determination. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 400. Please see Mr. Pichette before the work is done.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a good evening.
Not yet.
Okay.
You stealing that?
I'm stealing one.
Go ahead and take that out.
Is that? Notice of public hearing Wednesday, August 2nd, 2017, at 7:15 PM on the request for determination of applicability for Brian Madden and Susan Gaffin, care GAF Engineering, Inc., 266 Main Street, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to construct an addition to an existing dwelling for properties located at Assessor's Map 11, lots 9B, 10B, 73 Main Ave, Wareham. And please identify yourself for the record.
Brian Grady with GAF Engineering.
Thank you.
The proposed project site, again, is at 73 Main Ave in Onset, and the project involves the construction of an addition and grading work within the buffer zone to a coastal bank and within a coastal flood zone. A 12 by 18-foot addition and minor grading are proposed within flood zone AE elevation 14. Some of the grading would also be within the buffer zone to a coastal bank, which exists on the opposite side of Main Ave from the subject lot. There would be some slight grading around the existing structure and the proposed addition as shown on the plan. Generally, the site is a very flat site, and it does have Main Ave separating the work from the resource area. So I would recommend the approval of the project with a negative determination number 2.
Brian, anything to add?
No, the only thing I'd add is the purpose of the grading is to elevate the ground to eventually remove the structure from the flood zone.
Jim, any questions?
No?
Mary?
No question?
No
Joe?
questions.
Anybody in the audience wants to speak for or against this project? Seeing none,
Motion to close?
Joe's motion to close the hearing. Jim's second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained,
Make a,
400.
make a motion to approve with a -2 determination?
Second?
I have a motion to permit a -2 determination. Mary has seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, 400.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And it's not 7:30 yet.
I can't help it.
Yay. Well, sometimes you've been the last one.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You know, late.
Notice of public hearing Wednesday, August 2nd, 2017, at 7:15 PM on the notice of intent for Roseanne Delbeck? Delbeck. Care of McKinnon and Keese Engineering, 23 Looks Mill Lane, Rochester, Mass. 02770, to install a Title V septic system for property located Assessor's Map 76, Lot W2, 2 Carmichael Way, West Wareham, Mass. And please identify yourself for the record.
I'd be glad to. I'm Sandy Keys of McKinnon and Keys Engineering, and I'm representing Ms. Roseanne Dahlbach here.
Hi, and I'm Roseanne Delbeck.
Thank you. Mr. Bichette will read his findings, and then we will continue.
I always enjoy seeing your prints.
Well, thank you. Old school,
Yep.
old school.
That's all right. Hearing didn't start until 7:15, and we're right here.
Okay, so again, the project site is at 2 Carmichael Way, and the project involves upgrading a septic system in the buffer zone to Blackmore Pond. The existing cesspool is to be replaced with a new Title V denitrification system. The new leach field would be approximately 50 feet from the edge of the pond. The system would have a raised leach field, which would be about 12 to 14 inches above the grade, and would have a block wall around that leach field area. The site is relatively flat, and there's no grade changes proposed other than the septic field. The only question I had was whether or not you think you might have an issue with encountering groundwater during the installation of the tanks and so forth, and would any dewatering potentially be needed? They are proposing silt fence between the work and the resource area. I would recommend both hay bales and silt fence for the project. We did get a DEP file number for the project, so I would recommend the issuance of the order of conditions with the standard conditions and the added condition I mentioned about the hay bales, and also any conditions that might be needed to be added if dewatering is potentially an issue.
I don't think dewatering, given the time of year, will be an issue, Dave, but if it is indeed, normally we set up a pump and a cofferdam with hay bales around it, so there's no sediment or anything anywhere. And it's all sand here, too. There's no lawn or anything that's going into the pond. And,
Right.
this is a huge improvement over the cesspool that's there, and I have to commend my client for reaching into her pocket quite deeply to repair this, but she recognizes the value of this front yard of hers. So, and with that too, it's not a block wall, it's gonna be a fieldstone wall, Dave.
Okay.
And, it's gonna be the wall itself is about 6 inches higher than the top of the field, or the top of the cover on the field. So, you know, it's pretty much at grade, and as I say, we had very good soils here. We've got variances that we did request, in fact, from the Board of Health, and they're gonna hold back on that, given the concerns of the next-door client, until Bob gets back. But Bob's already talked to the DEP regarding this. And I'm a little bit surprised that the abutters aren't here, considering they were here at the Board of Health meeting earlier today.
And how did that meeting go?
Well, they, you know, took what she said under advisement, but everything that she grabbed out of Title V was for new construction, and not for a repair and upgrade is what we have here. And they felt there was nothing wrong with the plan, but they wanted to defer to Bob, and, you know, I'm giving them hearsay because Bob called me and he talked to Brett Rowe because he had some concerns, and everything that I had put on paper was correct. So Bob just wanted to let me know that the plan was okay.
When you
So
say
he's on
Bob
vacation.
Ethier?
Yes, I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
Mr. Ethier.
So the Board of Health continued the hearing? Or did they approve
No, they
it?
didn't continue the hearing, they're just waiting for Bob to come back. So, because they had originally approved this about a month ago.
Oh, okay, so they've already approved it?
Yeah, and the
Okay.
abutter claimed that she didn't get a notification in time, so I met with her in person and her mother and went over the particulars of the plan in the field. And I was a little bit surprised that they did come up with some concerns that really didn't apply to our project here, but once again, it's a postage stamp lot, it's not new construction, and in fact, if it were new construction, you guys wouldn't approve it, so kind of a moot subject, but we try to take care of everybody's concerns, for lack of a better word.
So, one quick question on this notice. Was the notice sent that there was going to be a conservation hearing? Because this says original on file with the Board of Health.
Yes, what I did was send a notice out that noted the hearing here tonight, and also the original
sleeping
meeting
on
with
it?
the Board of
The
Health.
other one.
And then, as I say, I
It
met
was
with them
underneath
after
here.
the fact and told them that there would be another meeting here with the Board of Health, which we did have already this afternoon, and with you guys here.
So you did inform the abutters that this will be,
Yes.
we are having conservation tonight?
Absolutely, in person, and in fact, twice in person with the surveyor of this project. The surveyor's Frank Westgate from Westgate Survey, and he was there when we informed the abutters about both these meetings and certified mail coming their way.
Can you step forward and identify yourself for the record?
I'm Paul Corwin. I own 100 Blackmore Pond Road. I have 30 acres, but it butts 30% of this. But I did get the notice. Myself and my wife did attend that meeting this morning, this afternoon, and negativity from the neighbor, but she's trying to do the right thing to get rid of the cesspool to make it more eco-friendly.
Can I just say?
Yes, please, Rose.
Thank you. I inherited this house from my deceased husband. My neighbor is his daughter through a first marriage. There's a lot of personal animosity going on here. I want to do the best I can to keep this property in pristine condition. My husband adored Blackmore Pond. And it's not easy for me to get $30,000 together to do this. And I could live like they do next door and not use toilet paper in my toilet bowl.
Totally understand. Totally
rest.
understand.
I am trying to do the right thing. And I think what's so upsetting for me is that I keep getting pushback where it doesn't really affect her at all. I have a fence up. She can't see it from where it's gonna
Well,
be.
She's not here to speak to it,
Right.
and as you say, the love for the pond means you
Yes.
want better water, which means you want reduce the nitrogen flow within to the water, and somewhere down the line, if you sell the house, it would have to have been moved over to that new Title V anyway, so, I see, I'm going to ask the board if they have any questions. Jim?
No,
Mary?
No question.
Joe?
I have no question. I'm going with a
Yep.
denitration system anyway, so the Board of Health will probably have no
Well,
problems.
they said it was already approved at the Board of Health. They
okay.
had some comments from neighbors today.
No, I
And I
have no
see
problems.
nobody else to speak to or for or
Well,
against this
I
project.
just did want to clarify, I think everybody's on board with the project being a positive thing, but what I want to clarify is, when you sent the notice to them, was it separate in writing to them that there was going to be a conservation hearing on this, a separate
Yes.
hearing? Okay.
Yes.
Because I don't see a copy of what you sent them anywhere in here.
Oh, okay. If it's not here, Dave, I've got it in my office.
Because,
Yeah.
that they were told verbally is not necessarily the standard that has to be met.
Oh, I know.
Well,
Yeah.
Sandy, is it possible you can get a copy of that to Mr. Pichette?
Oh,
For,
absolutely.
for the record, that we have
Yes.
it, that they've
Put
been
it on
notified.
file, certainly.
Put it on
Yeah.
file.
I'd be very happy to do
But,
that. In fact, they were notified twice, so,
Right,
um,
okay.
We
in
can-
letters.
any other comment on this? Yes.
I can interject. I do have the copy of that letter that's in my truck. I can go get it for you.
That's fine. Sandy, just email,
Yeah.
send it, or
Okay.
postage, snail mail, or whatever to,
Well, that was regarding the first Board of Health meeting too, Paul. So, you know, I gave her another letter that was saying we had another Board of Health meeting because she wanted to come before the board again to register concerns. And I also reminded her again that there would be a hearing this evening
Okay.
regarding this project
All
before you
right.
guys.
Right, and that's what I'm asking. So in writing, did she get something saying that there was
Yes.
going to be a Concom
Yes,
meeting? Okay.
certified mail.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
right.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Nothing else? I see no other, any other comments? I'm having no other comments.
Motion to close?
Joe's motion to close
Second.
the hearing. Mary is seconded. All in favor? Aye.
And if I could just make a quick comment too, these D-night systems, they not only remove the nitrogen, they get a good deal of the phosphorus out of those pond site.
They're
That- that are
brethren.
More of a concern, yes.
Yeah.
I'm preaching to the choir.
Yes. Okay,
All right, I'm going to make a motion as contingent, conditional on Dave receiving proof of service. And it's the grant with the standard stipulations plus the additional hay bales and silt fence and use of a coffer dam and hay bales if there is a need for dewatering.
I have a motion.
Second?
I have Mary's second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? 400. Please see Dave before you start anything.
I will.
I appreciate that.
We'll get the numbers up and everything else because we did
All right.
receive the DEP number too.
All right, very good.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. You too. Thank you. Is there anything else on the agenda people would like to discuss?
Nope.
Lunch.
Ice cream.
Well,
Just going to have you sign this.
oh, wait, 1 second. No, you can come. I take a motion to close.
Motion to
I
adjourn?
have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a second from Mary. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 400. We are adjourned. Thank you, Wareham.
Doc?